Hi, today I have for you Elle by Jon Renau. I'd like to give a great big thank you to Frannie at Frannie's Hair for supplying Elle to me to review for you today. Frannie's Hair is such a customer-focused website. It's just amazing. They really want us to be informed as consumers of alternative hair. So they really try to optimize our experience by putting so many resources on their website and just so much information for us to inform ourselves with. I will leave links in the description so that you can check out Elle and also browse around frannieshair.com. I will also leave a link to their wonderful private Facebook group, which is a really great, positive, encouraging space, chock full of information, especially for new wig wearers. I even recently joined myself, so that's fun. So you can check out those links, even if you just want to browse online at Frannie's Hair, because I really recommend their color section. If you're trying to choose a color for yourself or you want to compare some colors, Frannie and her team have really tried to make that so much better to give us a feel for the color, because they realize that that's pretty much the biggest hurdle we have, purchasing hair pieces online, not seeing the color in person. So they've really done a lot to customize their color charts beyond those little square swatch thingies. Elle arrived really well packaged too. Jon Renau does a great job making sure that the piece does not get jostled around during shipping. There was tissue paper and a hairnet. They also include a really good fiber care guide. Elle is available in so many beautiful Jon Renau colors. Of course, the California Blondes and some gorgeous grays. Also, there's a series of ombre colors that Jon Renau calls cascading colors. I think I might like to try that as well. So stay tuned for Venice Blonde at the end of the video to be seen in daylight. And also, I'm super excited. I'm going to show you a color comparison of Venice Blonde, and I have 3 other blondes to show you today. Elle is an open wefted cap design. Let's take a look at the inside. She's an average fit. I would say quite a roomy average though, because I do cinch the adjusters in all the way for my more petite average head size. So as I said, open wefted cap. She's got some stretch there. She has a beautiful full monofilament top to provide parting variability and of course to give that illusion of a natural scalp. She has a temple to temple lace front. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment when I get her on. She has soft covered pliable ear tabs, and she has a soft covered regular nape, and of course those convenient Velcro adjusters. So let's get her on. I need a wig grip. Elle is not a new style. She's been around for quite a while, I think like 2013. So that's a long time. She's not new, but she doesn't seem to be talked about that often. She's a regular synthetic, not heat defiant. And so you will see a bit of shine. You know, that's the thing with the heat defiant. They really, if you get used to them, you can find regular synthetics to be a little bit shiny for you. Just want to make sure that I have that lace in the right position. So there again, this is a blonde that I'm not quite ready for. I definitely will be though by the time this long Canadian winter is over and the summer, when the warm weather comes, I'm going to start wearing my blondes out in public. I'm just not quite there yet. It's hard when you're a brunette, but I do love these rooted blondes like Venice Blonde. So this number 8 rooting is perfect. Now, I have not done anything to Elle. I combed her and I took the zigzag part out, but I haven't done any styling at all. So with the regular synthetic, the styling that you're allowed to do is steam. So there you go. She really, I think the shine looks like more than it actually is in the lighting than it shows, you know. I just don't think she looks as shiny to my eye as she looks in the camera. But you know how to address that with some dry shampoo. Also, as you wear, that shine factor does disappear. I will probably give her a cool soak for 5 minutes, and because that does help with the shine factor as well. And I'll let her thoroughly dry. And it also might help with, I don't think it's box hair. I think it's part of Elle's style that she's a little bit has a tendency to flip up a little. Now, she's not doing it too much at the back for me, which I really love. The back looks great, but I might want to just address these front. I might try to get rid of that because I'm just personally not a fan of the flippy uppies. Not that that's right or wrong if you like it or you don't. It's just personal preference. So I might do some work with either steam, or you can use, a lot of people do use a hot air brush with the regular synthetics, but it can't have any metal on it. This is ceramic, and the tines have to be plastic as well. So, and you can just use a regular fabric steamer. It doesn't have to be a fancy wig steamer. It can just be a fabric steamer. So now Elle is a very classic style. I mean, I think she's so realistic looking, especially if I would give her a little spray to dim that shine a little bit, a dry shampoo spray. But she looks so much just like everyday regular hair that I think that's why you don't really hear much about her. She kind of just flies under the radar, but I think she's really great, and her density and denier is extremely I was so surprised because I thought these synthetic fibers were going to have a thicker denier. The individual strands were going to be much thicker than they are. They are so fine. So I would definitely say that Elle is a lower density piece for sure. And I would say like low to medium, but really on the low side of medium. And, you know, I have to say the scary word, permatease. It's not traditional permatease at all that we think of like a bird's nesty permatease. Elle has a very thin layer of permatease around that is these tiny short fibers that in the case of Venice Blonde, it's the brown, the medium brown 8 root. So those fibers are literally there to hide the wefting. You have to have that. And you know, I did notice on Elle, a couple of little fibers were sticking out when she first arrived. I don't know if you could pick any of it up, but when you flatten her out, you might see, it looks like with this rooted Venice Blonde, it looks like a brown whisker. But I realized that's not a flaw. You really have to separate the fibers from the cap on these synthetic fibers because they do tend to settle a little bit. And once you lift it up, you can't see it at all. But you can feel that there is that little bit of permatease. It's really not the bird's nest type though, I promise. And there's a little bit at the nape, which holds, even for a simple style like this for Elle, she does need something to hold the structure. It's like a framework. Otherwise, really, these fibers would just sink on us and just be like a mop on our heads, especially with straight styles. But she's a really classic, longer bob with a curtain bang. And she's pretty much one length everywhere with a little bit of feathering on the ends just to really fall nicely. So her bangs are 7.5 inches, and I've done nothing. They're not face flopping on me at all. I did change the zigzag part and I adjusted it, but they're just not flopping at all. And her sides are 10 inches and her nape is 14 inches. Excuse me, her crown to the ends is 14 inches and her nape is 6.5 inches. So she's just really so classic and just looks like everyday hair. I'm just so loving it. I think that's why she just flies under the radar. Nobody pays much attention to her. She just doesn't have any big fanciness in her style. But I really love Venice Blonde, and we will fully get into the color when I do the comparison. I did take a little bit of steam to Elle's flipped out ends, and I didn't want to straighten them totally. I just wanted to soften it a bit, and I'm really pleased with the results. Yeah, she's looking great. I haven't sprayed her yet with dry shampoo, but I will do that for sure. Now, and let's take a better look at Elle's lace front. It is really, really beautifully done. They did take that ash blonde highlight in Venice Blonde here right up to the lace, but it is so sparsely done, it looks quite natural. And being only a temple to temple lace front, this particular Elle is just done impeccably. Her transition from the lace front to the temple to temple lace front to the rest of the wig is actually flawless. So that is really, really nice, because sometimes with the temple to temple lace front, it's not the best transition down to the ear tab area. But as I hope you can see, it's not a problem here with this Elle. It looks great. So I do have 3 other blondes, just in case. This is not technically a perfect technical color comparison at all, because 2 of these are heat defiant and Elle, and 1 other piece is just regular synthetic. So colors do vary. The same color in the same brand, if it's in a synthetic, a regular, or a heat defiant synthetic, it will slightly appear different. So this is just in case you're not familiar with Venice Blonde. I wanted to show you 3 other colors in case you are familiar with them. So the first one, of course, is this is Sugar Rush E in Brown Sugar Sweet Cream. And that's not technically a blonde either. But to me, a person that has not quite graduated to wearing blondes yet, this is really blonde. So they're all of these wigs, all 4 of them, have the similar color codes. So Venice Blonde is 22 F16 S8. So the 22 is a light ash blonde, and the 16 is a light natural blonde, and the shading, as Jon Renau calls the rooting, S8, that's a medium 8 brown. Now, I'm not going to bother with all the codes because I'm still learning all the color codes, and this is not a technical comparison. I can just tell you that all 3 of these have very similar color codes to Elle. So Elle is classified as a cool blonde, and I indeed think she is. Brown Sugar Sweet Cream is classified as a neutral, and I think you could see that this is still, there are some similarities, but Brown Sugar Sweet Cream is really not a full-on blonde. Just to make sure I'm there. So yeah, I think it does have a similar overall kind of tone, because even though Elle is listed as cool, I find her to be a little bit neutral, and so is Brown Sugar Sweet Cream. This is Cameron by Rene of Paris. This is the other synthetic, regular synthetic. And I really find them to be a very similar tone. Their color codes are very similar, except that Cameron has a number 10. So her brown rooting is a notch lighter than the number 8. So I hope you can see that. Remember, this is just a fun comparison in case you're not familiar with Venice Blonde, but you might know one of these colors. I'm not going to get all technical because it really doesn't work when they're not all the same exact fiber. And this is a heat defiant fiber. This is Chelsea. This is Beige Linen Blonde R. And there again, I do find them to be in the relative similar tone. So this is also a neutral, and Creamy Toffee R, that's what Cameron is. Creamy Toffee Rooted is also a neutral. So I think that they're all quite similar. I really, really do. I don't know if my lighting shows how similar that they are. But just in case you want to look up on Frannie's hair to their great color charts, you can take a look at these colors as well as a comparison. So like I said, please forgive me, it's not a technical color comparison. Elle does have plenty of length for a ponytail at the back, or if you're like me with a lower nape, I would have to do a half up, half down. I don't really have the right clips here today, but I just did it quickly to show you. Yeah, she's got plenty of length for a low pony, or maybe a little bit better than I did this, but you can definitely play around and work with her. please go ahead and use the link in the description to see Elle at frannieshair.com. And don't forget about Frannie's private Facebook group, Frannie's Hair. Thanks once again to Frannie and her team for supplying Elle to me to do this review for you today. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. Take care.